Have you ever been in a conversation where you knew you were right, but somehow you still felt like you were losing? The other person gets louder, faster, more aggressive. They interrupt you. They push over you. They try to dominate the moment. And for a second, it works. Not because they're right, but because they've taken control of the emotional frame. And that's the part most people never understand. Arguments are not won by logic. They are won by control. Control of your voice. Control of your reactions. Control of your presence. Because the moment someone can control your emotions, they begin to control you. But there is another way to respond. A quieter way. A more precise way. A way that doesn't require shouting, defending, or proving anything. Just one sentence, delivered calmly, can stop the entire interaction. Not by force, but by authority. Today I'm going to show you 5 responses that do exactly that. These are not comebacks. They are not emotional reactions. They are positions of control. And if you use them correctly, something interesting will happen. People will start to hesitate before speaking to you, because they will feel they cannot move you, and stay until the end. Because the last response is not just powerful, it quietly removes you from the entire game. Most people lose arguments long before they speak. They lose the moment they react, when they feel the need to defend themselves immediately, when they try to prove their point too quickly, when they allow the other person to pull them into urgency. That urgency is where control is lost. Because calm people think, reactive people chase, and in any interaction, the one who chases follows. The one who stays still leads. So the question is not, how do I win this argument? The real question is, how do I stay in control of myself, no matter what the other person does? That is what these responses are designed for. Let's begin. 1. Let's talk when we can do it respectfully. This is not weakness. This is structure. There are conversations that are no longer conversations. They are interruptions, raised voices, disrespect disguised as discussion, and most people tolerate it. They stay. They explain more. They try harder to be understood. But the more they tolerate disrespect, the more they invite it. Because people do not respect what you allow repeatedly. That is why this response matters. Let's talk when we can do it respectfully. Notice what you're doing here. You're not reacting emotionally. You're not attacking them. You're not explaining yourself. You are defining the standard. Imagine someone cutting you off again and again. Their tone sharpens. Their energy becomes aggressive. They want you to respond the same way. But instead, you pause and you say calmly, "Let's talk when we can do it respectfully." In that moment, everything changes. The conversation is no longer about the topic. It is about behavior. And now, you are in control. Because whoever sets the standard leads the interaction. 2. I don't need to raise my voice to be right. Loudness is often mistaken for power, but in reality, it is often a loss of control. People raise their voice when they feel their position weakening. When they cannot command attention through clarity, they try to force it through volume. And many people fall into the trap. They match the tone. They raise their voice back. They escalate. And in doing so, they lose their advantage. Because now they are no longer composed. They are reacting. That is why this sentence is so powerful. I don't need to raise my voice to be right. It is calm. It is precise. And it immediately separates you from the chaos. Imagine someone speaking louder and louder, trying to dominate the space, and you remain exactly the same. Still, controlled, unmoved. Then you say that sentence. Now there is contrast. They are emotional. You are stable. They are forcing. You are certain. And certainty is always more powerful than noise. Because true confidence does not need amplification. It is already felt. 3. The way you speak says more about you than it does about me. This is where control becomes visible. Because when someone attacks you, what they want most is your reaction. They want you to absorb it, to feel it, to respond emotionally. And the moment you do, they succeed. Because now you are no longer choosing your response. You are reacting to theirs. But this sentence breaks that chain. The way you speak says more about you than it does about me. There is no aggression in it. No insult. No emotional leakage. Just clarity. Imagine someone speaking to you with sarcasm or contempt. Instead of defending yourself, you say this calmly. Now something shifts. You didn't absorb the attack. You returned it. Not with force, but with awareness. And that is what makes it powerful. Because now, they are confronted with their own behavior, not your reaction. And most people are not prepared for that. They expect resistance. They don't expect reflection. And when you give them a mirror instead of a fight, the dynamic collapses. At this point, you may be thinking, these are simple sentences, and they are. But their power is not in the words. It is in the delivery. Anyone can say these phrases. Very few can say them without tension, without hesitation, without emotional leakage. That is what makes the difference. Because people don't just hear what you say, they feel how you say it. And if your voice is calm, your posture is steady, and your energy is controlled, these sentences don't sound like responses. They sound like decisions. And people respect decisions far more than explanations. Now let's go deeper. 4. That's your opinion, and I respect it, but I don't share it. Not all pressure comes from aggression. Some of it comes quietly, from people who insist, repeat, push. They don't shout, but they don't stop. And many people give in just to avoid tension. They agree. They nod. They surrender their position slowly, not because they believe it, but because they want peace. But that is not peace. That is avoidance. True calm is not agreement. It is stability. And this sentence reflects that perfectly. That's your opinion, and I respect it, but I don't share it. You are not rejecting them. You are not submitting either. You are standing still, and that is rare. Imagine someone trying to convince you of something repeatedly. They keep pushing, but instead of arguing endlessly, you say this. Now the conversation has nowhere to go, because you acknowledge them without giving up yourself. That is emotional independence, and people can feel it immediately. Because when they realize they cannot pressure you, they begin to respect you. 5. I'd prefer not to continue this conversation. This is the highest level of control, because sometimes the strongest move is not what you say, it is what you stop. There are conversations that have no value, no understanding, no resolution, no respect, only ego, only friction, only wasted energy. And yet, most people stay. They want to win. They want the last word. They want validation. But real power doesn't need closure from the wrong people. It chooses peace instead. I'd prefer not to continue this conversation. There is no anger in it, no explanation, no apology, just a decision. And that is what makes it final. Because now, you are not trying to control them. You are controlling yourself. And that is always the superior position. A person who can walk away calmly is far more powerful than a person who must respond to everything, because they are not driven by reaction. They are guided by choice. These 5 responses are not techniques. They are signals. Signals that you are in control of yourself, that you do not react impulsively, that you do not tolerate disrespect, that you do not abandon your position under pressure. Let's bring them back clearly. Let's talk when we can do it respectfully. I don't need to raise my voice to be right. The way you speak says more about you than it does about me. That's your opinion and I respect it, but I don't share it. I'd prefer not to continue this conversation. Practice them, not to dominate others, but to remain unshaken. Because the truth is simple. The strongest person in any interaction is the one who cannot be pulled out of their center. The one who does not chase, does not react, does not lose control. And when you become that person, people notice. They speak differently around you. They hesitate. They measure their words because they understand something without being told. You are not easy to move. If this changed the way you see communication, subscribe, because here you don't just learn what to say. You learn how to think, how to carry yourself, and how to remain in control in a world that constantly tries to pull you out of it. And tell me in the comments, which of these responses will you use first?